Welcome to Recipe for Success at Evergreens. Are y'all ready for Thanksgiving? I am. So one of the dishes that we make during Thanksgiving, I have to move outside the camera, I'm sorry. One of the dishes that is famous during Thanksgiving is potato salad. Now, different people may have different ways they do potato salad. I've seen people use, instead of using mayonnaise, they would use ranch dressing. You can use honey mustard instead of the regular mustard to give you a little sweetness. There are different ways to make sweet potato salad. Well, I have a recipe for you today. Very simple, very easy. I did have to boil my potatoes, so what we're gonna have is onions, celery. I have some dill. I like the dill relish. Sometimes people use sweet relish. I have your mayonnaise, salt and pepper. I have dill, a little seasoning of dill. I have mustard. I have my potato, and I have 2 eggs. And some people don't like eggs. I know that my niece is allergic to eggs. Well, now, so I used to make 2 potato salads. I used to make one with eggs and one without. So let's get started. So what I've already done, I've already boiled my potatoes. Now I'm gonna tell you something. See how it fell apart? I rather have smaller potatoes than this one because smaller potatoes do not take long to cook as far as you boiling them, and it's just easy to boil. It took a while to get these where they were soft, tender enough to to take out so I can cut them up. Because what we're gonna do, we're gonna chop them in quarters. I mean, not quarters, but cubes. Because you want them edible, you don't want them small. You're not making mashed potatoes here. You're making a potato where you can taste it, because this is the star of the food. So you have to make them where people can taste the potatoes. They're the star of the show, okay? So I'm gonna put those in there. And you don't wanna cook them too much because you don't want them too soft, because like I said, you don't want mashed potatoes. You want potato salad. So this calls for 3 potatoes, but since I had the big ones, I said I probably only needed 2. Trying to save some of these potatoes, because see, this is what happens when you have a big potato and you're trying to gauge yourself in how long it takes to cook them. This is what happens. One of them might, I'm not even going to cut that. I'm just going to put that in there. I don't think there's ever been a perfect sweet potato. I mean, a perfect potato in a potato salad. I don't think there's ever been a perfect one. I don't like the little black things on here. I'm not going to use that. So we're going to cut the rest of these up. I'm just going to cut them in chunks so they're bite size. So this is why I said I like the smaller potato, smaller. And these are Idaho potatoes. I love Idaho potatoes, but you don't have to use Idaho potatoes. So let's get this one. And we're gonna go ahead and peel it. Take off the peeling. Now, when you finish boiling your potatoes, I would suggest that you put it in cold water to stop it from cooking, else it'll continue to cook. So I would put it in cold water.
And how long did you say you boil them for?
Well, if you do medium potatoes, it's supposed to take probably, now I had these on, I'm gonna tell you, I had these on for like 45 minutes or a little bit longer because they're so big. But it shouldn't take you that long. It should take you like, what, 15? Depending on, some people like to go ahead and cut their potato up and then boil them. So that can take like 15 minutes because it's not really big. But it took me a while to cook these potatoes because they were so big. So I would suggest, and I'm cutting them, that you don't get them this big. I suggest you get the medium size, and the medium size shouldn't take you no more than like 30 minutes. Now, like I said, this took about 45 minutes or a little longer because they're big. And I'm cutting them up, but I still even have to cut them more because I don't want them that big when you're eating a potato salad. I'm gonna tell you something. I'd rather have homemade potato salad than a store-bought. I have never tasted any potato salad from the store that I really liked. It's just not, it just doesn't have that touch of homemade taste. It's just something missing. I've never, now you can comment below, have you ever bought a potato salad that's made at the store that you said that tastes well? I have never tasted any potato salad that I've liked, that I've bought at a store that was pre-made. It just doesn't, it just doesn't have a touch. You see how I made those cubes? I made them cubed so they can be bite-sized. Another thing I like to do with my potatoes, when I'm boiling them, I put a little salt in there because I do not like bland potatoes, if that makes sense. I do not like bland potatoes, so while they're cooking, I try to cook them in a salt bath. You know, I try to put a little salt in them so they can, and I think some people even use vinegar. Now, this recipe doesn't call for that, but just to get the flavor in there, some people try to get the flavor in the potatoes so the potato won't taste bland. I've had that where it's like a bland potato. And another thing I like when my potato salad sits and marinates in the refrigerator. So after you get all the ingredients in, it's just better for it to sit in the refrigerator so that it can marinate. So all the flavors can get through the potato. So the potato can absorb those flavors. So it won't taste bland. I do not like bland. You know, it's nothing like biting into a potato. When you have potato salad, you have all the flavors. When you put it in your mouth, the potato is bland and you taste all the other flavors outside the potato. Does that make sense? I mean, I've had that too, and I don't like that. I like it all blended together. So, and this is my potato. Now, you do not have to throw this away. You can use it. Put a little butter on this and eat it. The mashed part, you don't want to put in your potato salad. But I'm going to cut the brown part off. I do not want that. I don't want the brown part. We're going to discard the brown part. Okay? So we got all our potatoes in there. Okay? Throw these away. Now, you don't have to throw these away. You can still eat this. There's nothing wrong with it. Still eat that potato. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, what it also calls for, now it says for 3 potatoes, but since these were so big, I just used 2. It has 3 hard-boiled eggs. But you know, some people don't like a lot of eggs, so I'm gonna crack these eggs for you. Crack them. And we're gonna chop the eggs up also. Tap that out. Hard-boiled eggs. Go ahead and peel them. Get all that off of there. Now, some people, like I said, are allergic to eggs, so you do not have to put eggs in there. But for this recipe, it does call for eggs. But like I said, you do not have to put it in there. Put it in there whole. I usually put it in there whole, and then I'll chop it up. And take this other one. I have the studio smelling like eggs. Take them off with these gloves. Get a little tricky. Make sure I don't get any shells in there. little bitty shells. Okay, so that's how we do that. I'm gonna change my gloves just a second because I don't want those on there. So I'm gonna chop up these eggs. Move this to the side. Take my eggs, and I'm gonna dice them. Now, I would just dice them to little small dices. Okay. I want to buy one of those things where it's like a silver thing where you take it when you chop foods up, and you where you want to cut your finger when you chop your foods up. Now I like for my eggs to be chopped up very fine. I don't want whole eggs, if that makes sense. Put that in there. Take our other egg. Chop that one up. The great thing about this, you can just, an egg is soft, so you kind of chop that up. Okay. So the next thing we're going to add some celery. Now it calls for 3 stalks of celery. Now you do not have to use celery either, but I like celery, so I'm going to get a few of my celery sticks here. Now I would even make these kind of bite-sized. I wouldn't want these because you don't want the celery to be overbearing. So chop them up. Okay. Okay, dice them up, put them in there. You know, the one thing I do during holidays, and I do all the cooking for my family, the one thing I do not like too much of is chopping all the onions, the celery, the eggs, the potatoes. It's a lot of chopping involved. So I usually gather my family, the young ones who like to cook, and I get them to chop up all my onions, all my cheeses, anything I need chopped up. I usually get them to chop it up for me. I'm gonna put those in there. That's enough celery for that. I usually get them to chop it all up. Or you can get one of those machines that chop all your stuff up. You just put them in there and you just
that's what I need.
A food processor sometimes. You can just throw them in there and because it's a lot of chopping during the holidays. A lot of vegetable chopping. I mean, it doesn't even matter. I mean, greens, cabbage. You have to all chop it. There's a lot of chopping. A lot of chopping. I'm trying to make sure we get these bite size. Okay. Then we're going to add our mayo, and it says for a 1/2 cup of mayo. So this is a 1/2 cup. But you kind of gauge what you want. If you want more than a 1/2 cup, that's fine. I'm going to put a 1/2 cup in here. Put a 1/2 cup. And it still may not be enough because some people do not like dry potato salad. So if you need to put a little bit more, that's fine. You know what? You can also use salad dressing, but I decided to use mayo. You can use salad dressing. Then it calls for a tablespoon of mustard. So a tablespoon. Now you might want to use a little bit more. That's fine. Use a tablespoon of mustard. Then we're going to use a teaspoon of the relish, or 2 teaspoons. Okay, that's my teaspoon right there. I'll put 1, 2. Put 2 teaspoons in there. My dad likes to put vinegar in his. I don't know why, but he does. He puts a little vinegar in his potato salad. So now I'm going to use to taste, and I don't like too much dill because we already have the dill. I'm just gonna put a little bit of dill in there. We're gonna put a little bit of salt, pepper. You kind of gauge what kind of salt and pepper you want. You just put a little bit. Just kind of gauge it. Then we're gonna put a little bit of salt. Gently use the salt. Now we're gonna stir it all up. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks delicious. Now, comment below if you've done something different with your potato salad. Like, have you added like bacon or something like that? I've never tried it with bacon, like putting a meat inside your potato salad. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Let's get it all stirred up. And I know another thing that they put in there, what's the little red, they usually put like paprika on top, something like that. I think paprika is just for color, just to add a little color to it. What do you do different to your potato salad? Is there something? Because this is like, I think this is a general. This is like the staple, like.
You said like sweet relish.
Yeah, sweet relish. You can put that in there. But I'm thinking the potato salad, this potato salad right here is like the traditional. Mm-hmm. It's the traditional potato salad. But, you know, people get innovative with their potato salad. That's why I said, are there people who put maybe even bacon in their potato salad, you know, to add a little flavor to it. And there you have it. Your traditional potato salad, getting ready for the holidays. Okay? That was simple, right? Very simple. Very easy and very simple. Now, if you want to add other things, that is fine. It's your potato salad. Well, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time. I will not be here with you next Thursday. I will be with my family. Or I'll be cooking and then delivering packages to my family because we're not having a gathering at my house for safety reasons and health reasons. So y'all stay healthy and safe and have a great weekend and have a happy Thanksgiving.